All right, and we're live. So I'm going to be going live every Monday morning at 9:30 a.m. PST. And if Qasim has ended up watching this, I'm going to use that software that we're talked about using instead of just going live directly here on YouTube. But I'll do soon. I forgot today. So we're going to be discussing anything that you guys have any questions about. Any issues that you're running into, any tips. As an update, we're spending a little over $1 million a month now in Google Ads. So it's something that we have a ton of experience, both e-commerce lead generation, conversion tracking. We actually just did the MDMC training last week and had the University of Missouri actually reach out and ask for some help. So it's something that we take a lot of pride in. It's a lot of fun to kind of help the community and help anybody that is just looking to have their questions answered. Any sort of tips or tricks that I can share with you. That's the point of the Ask Me Anything, and it's going to happen every Monday at 9:30 a.m. Pacific time. It's funny, we're in Arizona. We don't change time zones. The rest of the world does essentially. So sometimes it'll be 9:30 Pacific, and then sometimes it'll be 9:30 Mountain. I'll let you guys know when that happens. It just depends on what time zone Arizona decides to follow, because we don't change our clocks, everyone else does, so we end up just kind of switching time zones. It's very odd. So let's see, what has been the new news of Google? So this happened a little bit while ago, but Google actually got rid of GSP, Gmail Sponsored Promotions. I liked GSP. GSP was really good for top of the funnel type of traffic. They ended up getting rid of it and just kind of sticking it right in with discovery. And I thought that was kind of an interesting move, because they're trying to make a big push for discovery. I think what's ultimately going to happen is if everyone here is using the Google app on your phone, the Google app, if you haven't used it yet, what it does is it delivers customized, kind of contextualized content to each person when they're signed into Google. So when you hop into Google's app, you'll see articles and information that's tailored directly to you. Mark my words here, I think that's going to go to Google's homepage and not in the app. And I think one of the reasons why that's going to happen is A, they're going to be pushing their discovery ads, but B, with the new iOS 14.5 update, how Apple is restricting apps, pretty much any app, even Safari, from sharing information with different advertisers. I think Google is going to try to become its own kind of ecosystem regardless of browser. So if a person shares the browser information, the Google search engine homepage that has discovery is going to be able to contextualize those results. So Google Discovery, I think, is going to be a big hit. Also, kind of a bigger update that Google did not too long ago. I think it was last month, is they got rid of the showcase shopping ads. So the showcase shopping ads were something pretty cool. I didn't use them too much because Smart Shopping still outperformed them, but they were good for companies that had like products. So products that are, if you had makeup as example, or shoes, you can show a showcase of all of the different products that you had to an individuals for them to choose from. And so that was pretty cool, but Google ended up removing it. And I think my hunch is they're going to be adding it to Smart Shopping, which would be really cool. We got a first question. John, what are your favorite resources to learn about Google Ads for podcasts, YouTube channels, book? Actually, I really like, I think, what is it called? There is I don't want to mess up their name, so let me just do a quick look here. I think it's called Search Engine Podcast. I think so. Let me look. Maybe that's not it. The Paid Search Podcast. I really like those guys. They're really good. They have a lot of great insights. They do a lot of the very similar content to us. We've actually worked with them in the past. So the Paid Search Podcast is actually on YouTube. They have like 4,800 subscribers. They have over 315 videos. They're really, really good for kind of testing. Now, it's not going to be strictly resources. A lot of times it's like a 1 hour show where the two gentlemen that are there will discuss ideas back and forth. So they had a lot of really good, interesting insights, and they like to test random things too, which I really respect that. I think people can get into kind of a rut and say, well, this structure works. I've been using Smart Shopping so long, I'm not going to test standard shopping anymore. We just launched a campaign this last week that we were testing standard shopping against Smart Shopping to see how they're going to perform. So it's something that, they test a lot of really cool, interesting ideas. And so Pacers podcast is really good. I also like us for, obviously, our 3x Shopify challenge is going to be coming up. I think that's next week, if I'm correct. 3x Shopify. If you're e-commerce, and especially if you're on Shopify, even if you're not on Shopify, but if you're with e-commerce, we're running a 5-day challenge on Monday, May 10th, where we're going to go through and build Shopify, a whole big build out of everything that you need. So it's going to be fun to follow along. Best source of information is John and Costin by far. I've listened to many channels, but nobody shares as much info as these two gentlemen. Well, thank you very much, Bohan. I appreciate that. It's something that we pride ourselves on, and we just give away everything. Oh, hey, how's it going? And I don't want to mispronounce your name, as I forget exactly how you pronounce it, but I see you, and I'm doing really good. How about you? It's good to hear from you again. Hey, John, how did you guys market 3 Shopify's last year? Did you use in-market audience based on Shopify URL? Yes, actually, you're 100% spot on. So last year when we did the 3x Shopify, we did Google and obviously Facebook. Facebook is just really good for that top of funnel, very inexpensive traffic. I wouldn't use it for, a whole bunch of direct response, but this one, since it was a low cost barrier, and I think 3x Shopify this year is going to be free. So we're going to use Facebook. But what I did inside of Google Ads is I ran a custom audience. And that custom audience, I did people who search for these terms on Google, and I used the URL my.shopify.com, my.shopify.com, and I think there's another one that we used. I think it was like there's two ways that people log into Shopify, and accounts.shopify.com, and then my.shopify.com. I think it's been completely changed now to accounts.shopify.com. So that's going to be something that's going to be important, but I knew that if a person's logging into Shopify, and we run a YouTube ad or even display ads, the people that are logging into accounts.shopify.com are Shopify account holders. And a lot of times they are going to be the person that is either going to be marketing it or owning it, or know somebody in the company that is in charge of growth and business development. And so us just running that free course allowed us to say, hey, it's a 3x Shopify challenge. So people that are logging into accounts.shopify.com are going to be our perfect prime example of it. Now, here's a quick tip for everyone. There's an issue with remarketing. There's an issue with remarketing on many different industries. One of the reasons is HIPAA for medical. HIPAA for medical is something that's really important because it's protecting your privacy. Now, if you have an agency, or if you're a person who can't remarket on your own traffic because of HIPAA violations, that custom audience using your own URL, people that search for that term on Google most of the time, is pretty accurate to get people who have actually visited your website. So if you want to kind of, I wouldn't say get around the HIPAA violation, but accurately target people who have been to your website, quote unquote, use the custom audiences with your own URL in the area of people who search for these terms on Google. That can work. And Bohan, do you get a lot of fake clicks when doing display with in-market? It depends. So what I like to do with in-market is, you're going to get a lot of fake clicks. Clixies does work pretty well with fake clicks. I recommend using Clixies. If you're not using Clixies, I mean, you usually see your higher spends benefiting from Clixies a lot. But if you want to get around the fake clicks, overlay topics as much as possible. If there's not a topic that really applies, and it's not as 100% accurate, but when you look at like where ads showed, obviously try to opt out of all of the games and apps. Go through every single category in games and apps, and you have to open them up accordion style. And that's a big issue that I think that people don't really know is, like, let's say you have a game and app category. That app category can have a drop down, and each one of those drop downs can have another drop down. You actually have to open up all those drop downs and click them individually. You can't click the parent. The parent won't apply to all of the children, and parent children meaning like the hierarchy. But open all those up and click on them. But if you can also overlay topics. Topics work really, really well. Topics cut out a lot of the junk traffic, and it gets away from a lot of those issues. Also, depending upon the bidding strategy you're using, I like target CPA on display. I think target CPA works the best, YouTube and display. And what ends up happening is the target CPA bidding strategy will help show the ad on less placements that have a lot of or no conversions. So a lot of times what we'll find, and this is what actually was the university's issue, is they were using maximized conversions and their conversion tracking wasn't correctly set up. So what ended up happening was it was going off a page view that wasn't the thank you page. It was a page view of the actual landing page itself. So it was counting itself as false conversions. And they started to see a lot of Disney Channel, a lot of Disney, and a lot of kids YouTube, and a lot of kids websites, like and kid apps, like kid games. Because kids just like to smash the phone or the iPad, and an ad comes up and they say, sure, they click on the ad and it goes to the landing page, and they just start clicking around until they get their mom and dad or whoever it is to bring them back and to get them back into the game. So they saw a lot of display clicks coming from different apps for resulting in children's game and those type of clicks. So use a bidding strategy that is going to be more restrictive on display. Don't use a bidding strategy that is more saturation. And what I mean by that is, if you're using maximized conversions in YouTube when you're focusing on leads, that's important. But if you're using display and you're using maximized conversions and you're starting to get fake clicks, Google's going to say, well, those are people that are engaging, so show that more often, because that's how we're going to be able to maximize those conversions. They're going to be able to maximize the conversions to show the ads to people who are engaged the most, even though it's children possibly who are not actually engaged or just clicking. It's going to show that more and more rapidly. Target CPA will say, well, these are the people that are clicking the ads but not converting, and it's driving up my cost per acquisition too high, so stop showing that. Now, it doesn't work like 100% of the time. It's very effective to limit that, but the way to limit that is by using, obviously, target CPA overlaid with topics, and topics are pretty cool. Like, you can a good top of funnel topic is like news sites, people that are watching the news more often than not. And I don't want to generalize people. That's not what I'm trying to do. But what we've seen, I'm just trying to be real with everyone here, is when you overlay news topics and news type of those topics, you get a more engaged audience, because those are people that are looking for information. Google rolled out placement exclusion lists where you can add all kid channels. You can apply this list to any display campaign without manually adding them each time. Yeah, we've done that as well. It doesn't catch them all. We actually even compiled a list of 30,000 extra as a negative exclusion list. We have 30,000 or 33,000 apps, 31,000 websites, 32,000 YouTube channels, and it still pops up. I don't know why. We actually got it from a different industry partner, and I think it was God Tier Ads. God Tier Ads had a list, and it was like a free download, and we're like, yeah, that makes sense. And we have 90-something thousand exclusions, and it made a dent. Like, it helped, but it still didn't get rid of it. I really miss AdSense for mobile apps. I really miss just being able to exclude AdSense from mobile apps and everything worked perfectly. Google's going to be rolling out additional exclusion lists too, that are going to be expanding upon that. What do you suggest then to run for e-commerce, standard shopping or smart shopping? It's really interesting. I really like standard shopping, not for long term. I like standard shopping for a very specific type of objective that you're looking to overcome. An example: scaling. Scaling is difficult in smart shopping because it's going to try not to scale unless you're making money. But there's a lot of instances where you need to scale at 100% ROAS. There's a lot of big brands. I'm not saying that everyone here is Nike, but as an example, Nike has a 1.0 ROAS goal. They need to make 100% of their money back because they know the LTV is 3, 4, 5, 100%. Now they can afford to spend that. But if I was running an ad campaign for Nike, obviously I'd want to run and test smart shopping, but standard shopping might be applicable because it doesn't have the limitations and restrictions that smart shopping does. Smart shopping will start to restrict the placements and the amount of impressions and clicks that a campaign can get when you're saying, hey, listen, I don't really need a ROAS goal. I need to start to scale. And sometimes you can, sometimes you can't. And when you can't, standard shopping is good, because standard shopping, if you're running manual CPC, will spend to the moon, even with like a 2% ROAS, it doesn't matter. But what's nice about standard shopping is when it does give you the ability to scale and see what additional what different traffic is out there that may not convert, but you need to start to get in front of them, as an example. Another reason why standard shopping can be better than smart shopping for a specific topic is, since smart shopping does give you search terms, you kind of don't know how Google's interpreting your feed. So you give Google your feed, and then you run a smart shopping campaign and you're just watching it and seeing how it works. You don't get to analyze a lot. You get, your bounce rate, your pages per session, your session duration, obviously all the good standard columns, but you don't get search terms. So you're not fully understanding if Google knows what you have for sale. As an example, this wallet here could be called Midnight, because it's black color, and so midnight is like, that's what I'm naming my wallet. But the search term might show up like where midnight apparel, who knows, and you're like, oh yeah, that's not really what I want black leather wallet. So standard shopping will give you those search terms. Now the search terms on standard shopping won't translate into a smart shopping native keyword, because you can't use native keywords in smart shopping. But what you could do is say, what do I need to make adjustments to my feed so that Google understands the products that I have for sale? Google is a machine. It doesn't interpret this as, oh, it's a black leather wallet. It's going to give a picture, and then it's going to give the title and description. So if your title and description isn't fully optimized for your campaign, Google is just not going to know what midnight is. And so the search terms that you might be showing up for may not be relevant. Standard shopping will tell you that, smart shopping will not. So what you do with that data is you take the standard shopping search terms and you identify how that is being shown up for your feed. Make optimizations to your feed, make optimizations to your title, your descriptions. Then once you see that your search terms are looking more relevant, not because you added negative keywords, but because you made feed optimizations, then smart shopping is going to be just 10 times more powerful than it was going to be originally. Or it's going to be 10 times more powerful in the short term, because smart shopping will eventually get there, say, aha, this isn't really a midnight. It's not midnight, it's a black leather wallet, because your description says so, and the more people are searching for it are starting to buy it. So we understand that smart shopping will get there. Standard shopping will get there faster. Exactly, that is the problem. I have good results on some products with smart shopping, but some didn't convert. When I see keyword that I know on which keywords Google spend much and doesn't convert. Right, and that's where standard shopping will be effective. But make your optimizations to your feed. Smart shopping will be more profitable longer term. Not every case, but generally. We have standard shopping campaigns that have outperformed smart shopping campaigns, but it's 98% of the time is smart shopping. So that's why we usually teach smart shopping, especially for the do-it-yourself people. Do-it-yourself people, smart shopping is just going to be more effective because it's a lower maintenance and it's a protective campaign. It'll protect your bottom line and protect your return on ad spend rather than just blowing out the water because your bidding strategy was incorrect. So for the DIYs, the people that are growing this, organically from their own hard work, and you're not an agency that's has a team of people working on this. It's usually more effective strategy is smart shopping, but standard shopping is going to be great for identifying feed issues or getting to a scale. And you can actually, you can use standard shopping to scale up and then turn on smart shopping, and it'll continue at that scale. And that's what I think is really great. Is you can use standard shopping, you can get to a specific level with just brute force and hard work, like adjusting manual bids per product, looking at negative search terms, adding in negative keywords, and then optimizing your feed, getting it up to a certain point, and then launch a smart shopping campaign concurrently at the same time. And what will happen is your standard shopping campaign's activity and your smart shopping campaign activity will do this. It'll actually, your standard shopping campaign will simply just tailor off and die, and you might get like 1 to 2 clicks a week. And your smart shopping campaign will start to rocket. And the reason is because standard shopping, even if you set the campaign priority to high, smart shopping just defaults as the shopping campaign Google is going to use. not saying standard shopping's campaign is going to go away anytime soon, but it definitely looks like standard shopping is, on its way out. Whether that be 2 to 3 years from now, that could be the end result. But smart shopping is definitely going to be where Google's focus is going to be, because it tailors itself to the less high maintenance type of campaigns. And that's why a lot of agencies don't push it, is because we have some campaigns that are delivering 1,000% ROAS that we spend an hour a month in. Now it's taken us a year and a half to get there, but the client is very happy, paying our monthly fee to have 1,000% return that they don't have to worry about. And if anything happens, disapprovals or suspensions, whatever comes about, we take care of it for them. So they're happy to pay that as well. But those campaigns that are running at 1,000% ROAS in smart shopping, Google likes that, and so do we, and so does the client. So for how long time you suggest running a smart shopping campaign without a ROAS goal? Do you suggest to have 2 smart shopping campaigns, one with a ROAS and one without? So Google's been making more and more changes, even since last 3x Shopify, that has kind of changed our strategies a bit. And it's just with testing. So first question, 45 days is usually my minimum, unless you're just really hemorrhaging money. If you're spending a ton of money and getting very bad return on ad spend, run a standard shopping campaign and see if it's your feed. But I always say that if you're getting 200, 300, 200% to kind of bouncing around, give it 45 days and do 2 things. You can scale a little bit. If you're at 400 or 500% ROAS, yeah, go ahead and start to scale, because you're getting good results. But if you're at 200, 300% return on ad spend, spend as much as you can for 45 days. So set I know I can spend X amount a day and do that for 45 days without reducing the budget. If you ever reduce the budget in the first 45 days, it is very harmful for the campaign. One of the reasons is because Google's learning, and it's learning and it's seeing, what audiences, what interests, what demographics, what age, what blah, 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 blah. And then if you ever take your budget from like $30 a day down to 15, it says, okay, I'm just going to stop learning for half those people that might have converted, and I'm going to stop going after them because I don't have enough budget. And so it essentially just kind of like, it takes a kid that was doing good in first and second and third grade and be like, now back to second grade. It's like, it starts to become ineffective. So don't reduce your budget, and give it 45 days before you put a ROAS goal on. Also, the second part is I would actually only run one smart shopping campaign if you can. The reason that we're saying that is we actually have seen some diminishing results long-term from running multiple smart shopping campaigns. And it's not every account. But if you find that going from 1 campaign to 2 campaigns, all of a sudden both of them start to die, I figured out the reason why is because Google, for whatever reason, does not share information between campaigns very well. I don't know why it should. It's the same product. But here's what I'm thinking is what we've seen is that when a person clicks on ad A, and when a person clicks on product A and they end up buying product B, product A still gets rewarded. It says, hey, someone clicked on product A and bought something. It doesn't even need to be doesn't even need to be this product. It's still going to get the credits because it's still going to be attributed to that product. But if they click on product A and they spend their most of the time looking at product B, and product B is at $10 a day, and the campaign in product B, the campaign that product B is in only has $10 to $15 a day, and the campaign in product A is $100 a day, you're going to send a lot of traffic to a campaign with a product in there that the people then look at a different product, and this one doesn't have enough money to remarket to all those users, and both campaigns are going to start to fail because campaign A is not going to remarket the products in campaign B, and vice versa. And so what ends up happening too is one campaign just becomes a remarketing campaign for half the products that campaign A brought to them, the users that they brought to them. So they don't share the information back and forth. When they're together, when you have all the products, it shares those users and it starts to remarket dynamically to any product they look at because the one campaign has enough budget. So I've seen the longest year-over-year growth performance with one smart shopping campaign. I have seen very good performance with multiple campaigns when one brand of product is in a smart shopping campaign or one group of product that does really, really well. Yeah, you can have those two running simultaneously. But if you have a lot of people that are viewing product A when they click on the ad and then looking at a different product and spending most of their time, and that's the product that gets dynamically remarketed to them, that's where the breakdown happens. So if you have a lot of cross-attributed sales, I mean, they clicked on product A, but they they clicked on product A, but they bought product B, don't separate those. That will start to have declining results. Do you use campaign priority along with negative terms with standard shopping campaigns to bid higher on keywords which convert more? High priority, low bids, low priority, higher bids. In standard shopping, let me just make sure I'm understanding the question. Do you use campaign? So the campaign priority, if I'm running a standard shopping campaign, is always high. I want that just in and of itself, I always use a high priority for any of the shopping campaigns, because for e-commerce shopping, majority of the time outperforms any other different campaigns in the account. Along with negative terms with standard shopping campaigns to bid higher on keywords which convert more. I guess I think I understand your question. Are you saying that you use a high priority campaign with negative keywords and then you place your bid higher on those products that convert more? High priority, oh, I see what you're saying. High priority, low priority, higher bids. Not necessarily. Most of the time for standard shopping, again, I don't run them long term, and I don't run multiple of them, and that's kind of the issue. I've taken, like, with breaking out, rather than breaking out multiple standard shopping campaigns with high priorities and negative keywords, I found that one smart shopping campaign, every single time I've ever run it, one smart shopping campaign always outperforms 4 or 5 standard shopping campaigns. Why? I don't know. Now, this is also the way that we sell our services. Is I sell services as I'm going to sell whatever I want, however much of it I want, at the highest return on ad spend. And if you, the client, says, yeah, but I want to sell more than A than B, that's not going to happen from us. That's how we sell our services. So it's not necessarily which products perform better. I'm going to sell as many products as possible with the highest return on ad spend at the most scale. But if you want to make a push for something, I can't always deliver on that. I'm going to deliver what the market wants, not what you want to sell. So that's our take on that. In the testing period of 45 days, if I have products with more than 150 clicks, no conversions, and those products spend 2 times my margin, can I exclude them that didn't, so they don't? Yeah, absolutely. You can, if you have like over 150 clicks and no conversions, and it's been a period of 45 days, yeah, go ahead and just start excluding them. The one thing that I would do is just make sure that those products aren't resulting in sales of something else on your website. The way to do that is analytics. Using analytics, looking at the e-commerce tab, the shopping performance, use a secondary dimension of campaign ID and see what smart shopping campaign is selling those products, because and then compare that against your smart shopping campaign's product performance. So it could be that product A received a ton of clicks and it received no sales. In your analytics, you see product C having a ton of sales, but product C having a ton of sales in your analytics is not reflected in your Google ads, which means that someone's coming in this on this product and then buying something else that's not giving an attribution back to that product because remarketing kicked in. So just look at, does analytics show that something is selling that ads is not? Could be coming from that. If you pause that, you might see the sales of that product go down. So just double check there. What I thought is to have a what I thought is to have a product that has a good ROAS in the own smart shopping campaign and use it. Yeah, you can. And that's the thing too, is you can. Most of the time that is the case. Here's where it doesn't make sense though, is if the product that is getting the return on ad spend is not the product that's actually selling. If it's not the product that's actually selling, when you split, is gonna do bad. We see a lot of times, and not all the time, but we do see quite a few often, that the main product that showed the sale in Google Ads is not the product that was sold. It's a different product that's not going to give credit inside of Google Ads. So just make sure that if you say, hey, I have 1,000 clicks, 100 sales, and a 500% ROAS on that product, make sure that's actually the product selling. That it wasn't 1,000 clicks and 100 sales of everything else, and this product never sold anything. So just make sure that that's not the case. I create 3 campaigns and use them to control bidding. High priority captures all junk keywords at very low bids. Medium campaign captures decent converted keywords. Yeah, I think that that's a good strategy. If you're using a bunch of different standard campaigns and are working, keep rolling. I would try smart shopping at the same time if you wanted to, and just see if that actually performs better, because that kind of does that for you at a faster rate than a human ever could. Not saying that you're not great. I'm just saying that the best person in the world couldn't keep up with Google's machine learning. It's just not possible. So that would just be my recommendation. Alvin says, hello, John. Does drop shipping store ship straight from China allow in Google Merchant Center? Yeah, you can. The issue, though, I would see is a lot of times when you're doing drop shipping, it's not going to be the technical setup that happens. It's going to be the issue with the individual. Now, there's a lot of ways around this, but what the big issue that usually happens is someone buys a product that you're drop shipping. And then let's say you have a Shopify store that's hooked up to Alibaba or AliExpress, and you're using, I forget the plugin tool, it starts with an O, but that plugin tool simply just orders and ships it right out for you automatically, and everything happens seamlessly, and it's really, really great, but it still takes 3 to 4 to 5 weeks to get to the person. Google does actually see refunds. It does see refunds and will start to deprioritize your campaign with refunds. So if you have a lot of people that are having issues saying like, where's my package, where's my product, like why isn't it coming yet? Everyone's so used to Amazon being the 2 days deliver at your front door type of scenario. So if this taking 4 or 5 weeks and they don't know that up front, you're going to get deprioritized from all the returns. Low priority bids are the highest because my best performing keywords get bid on there. Yeah, and I think that's a great strategy. I think that is an absolute great strategy. You're basically building your own target ROAS algorithm. Essentially, it's just set very low bids on not junk traffic, but like low priority. It's like when you're running a search campaign, you're using manual CPC, and the word like doctor is at $2 bid, but like plastic surgeon near me is at $100. You're basically just reverse engineering that with shopping, which I think is a very, very smart idea. And that's something I've seen before. I've seen like catch-all campaigns, and then I've seen obviously like brand campaigns that have low priority bids or high priority but low bids because it's a brand. So I've seen a lot of different ways that standard shopping has been set up that way, and I think that's absolutely true. And I'm not saying don't do that. I'm just saying if you wanted to, try smart shopping because that does that for you. With very little work on your end. So when I found a next good product with high ROAS, move them into So that's the thing. Yep. So when you find a good product that is working really, really well and has a good amount of clicks and conversions and a good ROAS, and that's the product that's actually being sold, it's not just being falsely attributed to that product. You can absolutely put that into its own campaign, and that's what that practice still works. We just found that when we broke out campaigns, and here's what was an issue: it was a person selling sauce. It was a hot sauce. Now the hot sauce is, imagine you have 50 different flavors and 50 different sizes of hot sauces. A person interested in hot sauce is going to click on habanero, but then they're going to see jalapeno, then they're going to see ghost pepper, then they're going to see Tabasco, and then they're going to see Cholula, and then they're going to see like all these different hot sauces, and they're just going to simply choose the flavor that they like. Well, if people click on habanero most, but they buy jalapeno, habanero is going to look good. And if you split jalapeno and habanero out into its own campaign, because this one showed a bunch of clicks and this one showed very few clicks, these two are not going to speak to each other anymore. And both campaigns are going to fail because people clicked on habanero, but then they looked somewhere else. And the other campaign tried to remarket to them, but the campaign that tried to remarket to them was also trying to get new traffic from that one product. Those two are just going to start having diminishing performance. Unless you're spending $5,000 a day on both campaigns, then you should be fine. But try splitting them out and budgeting them upwards is not going to work. Do I need retargeting if I'm using smart shopping? I've run it for a while alongside, but doesn't count any conversions. Smart shopping is retargeting in addition to itself. So smart shopping does a few things. It's inbound search, obviously on the shopping network. It's search with display select. So people that are searching those terms, it starts showing those ads to them on the display network. And it's also retargeting. The big issue that smart shopping sometimes fails is I would check into go into your tools, go into your audience manager, check your audience sources, and see if you have an ecom prod ID issue on your Google Ads tag. If you do, smart shopping is not going to work very well at all. It depends on that remarketing. If your Google Ads tag has an error or what they call one issue, because ecom prod ID is not firing very often, smart shopping campaigns like a direct response campaign. You get the click and then that's it. After they leave, that's it. Smart shopping builds its entire algorithm on retargeting. So make sure that you don't have that ecom prod ID issue. That's very common. I mean, we see probably half the accounts we take over have that ecom prod issue. Have you ran into situations where your quality scores seem to not go up no matter what changes you make? Yeah, depends on if you're talking about what changes you make. Let's see, add text on-site optimization. Sometimes I feel like you have to submit the same campaign on different accounts to get a better score. Can I use your smart shopping strategy as smart display campaigns? I have services I would like to promote via smart. Okay, so first thing, quality score. Make sure that you're focusing on all three issues of your quality score: ad relevancy, expected click-through rate, and landing page experience. Those are the three main topics that make up the quality score. If you're just looking at the quality score and not wondering why it doesn't go up, simply not having enough daily ad spend can bring down your quality score. Not having your keywords in your ad itself is going to bring down your ad relevancy. Not making sure that your keywords are not on your landing page will bring down your landing page experience. Biggest thing though that we see with quality score, site speed. Site speed will trump all. Even if you have amazing keywords, you're spending $1 billion a day, it's in the ad copy, it's featured on the landing page, but your landing page takes 7 seconds to load, bad quality score. 100% of the time, check site speed. That's the number one issue that we see with the diminishing quality score. And we've had, and I'm hoping that's what you mean by, when you say site optimizations, are you talking about changing the content on the site, or are you talking about site speed? Those are two different things that are they're both part of the on-site optimization. Next thing, when you say smart display campaign, my opinion is smart display campaigns not necessarily there yet. Smart display it's kind of like smart shopping, only without the control of like your feed optimizations or your or ROAS goal that you really see. Smart display, you can use it like smart shopping. Most of the time, the issue that I think that smart display stems from though is it goes after a heavy brand. So people that are Googling a brand name, smart display goes after and spends a budget on those. Imagine running a standard display campaign and using DSK, display search keyword for your brand name. That's kind of where smart display starts. Now it can work, and I've seen it work many times really well. The issue though that I see most often is if you're like, hey, I'm only spend $30 to $40, $50 a day, and you do have a lot of good brand awareness, that display traffic just simply tries to go after people that Google the brand name or remarket all the people that are on your website. It does a combination of both. So sometimes it's not fully effective. And Nick said content. Yeah. Content is yeah. So changing the content on the page, but I mean, seriously, if you have a 5 to 6 second load time, Google will just permanently give you it'll just give you a low quality score no matter what you do. Any changes to your campaigns, any changes to your website won't affect it. Check, and then I don't know if I can drop a link, but check what they call page speed insights. Google the search term page speed insights. It's a tool Google uses to measure your site speed. It gives you all of the things that you need to change on your website in order to get it into a good score, and shoot for a 70 to 80% plus optimization score. If you're like in the 30, 40, 50s, Google might just say, hey, your page just is too low. It's going to be low quality. So I check there first. And I'm here every week, so come back and let me know what happened. Yep, so you're welcome, Nick. Could you repeat what I should check in retargeting, please? Oh yeah, so go to Tools, then go into Audience Manager, and inside of Audience Manager, on the left-hand side of the screen, check Audience Insights, or sorry, Audience Sources. I hope that's on your left, it's my left, but Audience Sources. And then under the Google Ads tag, see if you have what they call one issue. And when you click on that, you'll sometimes give you a reason, like 100% of your e-com product ID did not match your feed. That means smart shopping is not remarketing at all. It's getting the impressions and clicks from the first inbound traffic, but they're not remarketing also. It's not learning anything, essentially. Also, just make sure, obviously, you have a remarketing code on the site. Make sure the remarketing code is firing e-com product ID. And make sure that e-com product ID is firing at least 30 to 40% or higher. Sometimes if you stick it in the header of a site, e-com product ID will fire on every single page, but it'll be empty on the non-product pages, which will account for less percentage of e-com product ID hits. And Edie, from what you say, you said the best thing is to launch one smart shopping campaign with all products and remove money spender with no convert and then that's our standard, is to run one smart shopping campaign. And if you have a product that is spending a ton of money, not making any sales and it's not contributing to any other sales on your site, rather than using a ROAS goal to weed that out, just exclude it. It will exclude itself. And that's what's funny is if you click into each one of your products when you're looking at your smart shopping campaign, you click on products and you get a list of your products, click on each one of those, the ones that had good performance and bad, and you'll see a trend. Usually the ones that have high spend, you'll start to see a downtrend. Usually the one that start to show good results will see an uptrend, and you'll kind of see like, hey, this is starting to sell, give it more budget. This is not selling, give it less budget. It'll eventually get there, but if you want to, just exclude that one product and we call it good. Yeah, and I don't really have a name. I know it's SND, but let me know if you want to come back next Monday and let me know see if that's the issue. But yeah, smart shopping is heavily remarketing. That's how it learns everything. And also, if you want to run a dynamic remarketing campaign alongside of the smart shopping. We've had some small instances where Ecom Prod ID does not fire often, and running a dynamic remarketing campaign alongside of a smart shopping campaign. I actually have a video on this on our YouTube channel. It's called like the perfect remarketing setup. But running a dynamic remarketing campaign alongside of a smart shopping campaign can help boost Ecom Prod ID firing, because that's all that dynamic remarketing does. And it'll also help go after the additional traffic that smart shopping possibly predetermined was not going to be a good conversion. So smart shopping is learning. It's going to push away the bad. It's going to try to attract more of the good. Dynamic remarketing, running like a maximized conversion, just going to say, I don't really care, just go after everyone. And sometimes you can start to scoop up the results that smart shopping missed. So smart shopping says, John Moran does not look like a person that's going to convert. So I'm not going to show an ad to person, even though John Moran was ready to buy. Dynamic marketing is like, all right, I'll do it. And dynamic remarketing starts putting ads in front of me. I'm like, yeah, I'm ready. I'll buy that. I forgot about that. I wanted to order that. And so dynamic remarketing will also start to get those conversions. Well, smart shopping will see those conversions coming in and leverage that. So sometimes dynamic remarketing can help smart shopping get there faster. I have about 3 minutes left. So if there's anything else that everyone has, I'm happy to help answer or at least give some advice or guidance on anything. And if not, maybe we'll give you guys 3 minutes back to your life. But yeah, I'll just kind of wait for another 30 seconds and see if anybody has any last questions. Let's see. When you run dynamic marketing campaign alongside a smart shopping, what bidding option are you using? I always use maximize conversions. Yeah, I want that to be a saturation effect. I want it to spend the money as much as possible. Now, don't give it like $1,000 a day. Obviously, let's say your smart shopping campaign is running on $200 a day. Start at dynamic marketing at 30 and give it maximized conversions, because maximized conversions is going to say, hey, anybody that possibly could even remotely look like they might be interested, I'm going to put an ad in front of them. So maximized conversions I like on dynamic remarketing because I want it to be aggressive and go after the people that smart shopping predetermined that they didn't like. If I sell unbranded diaper bag, can I take UPC GTIN from other brands' diaper bag? Nope, definitely not. That will actually give you an invalid GTIN in Google Merchant Center and will disapprove your product and ultimately suspend your Google Merchant Center. If you need the UPC GTIN, go to, let me just see if I can find it. Go to instantupccodes.com, instantupccodes.com. You could buy UPC codes there. If you want 10 of them, it's $15 and you'll get your UPC codes. If you need it, you don't need it. It's good to scale with them. And if you're getting a, limited performance due to missing GTIN in Merchant Center, buy the GTIN, tag it onto your product. That's yours now. That's your UPC code, essentially. Instantupccodes.com. They're 5 codes for $15. Thanks for your time. We know you charge $1,500 per hour. Yeah, I do. That's my consulting fees, $1,500 per hour. Now, this is just kind of like a cool Ask Me Anything, but yeah, we usually charge about $1,500 an hour for some pretty in-depth, like that would be me pulling up your campaign, going through very, very fine tooth and giving you actual recommendations on what to do. So yeah, I appreciate it. It's something that we like to charge for, but we actually have I think it's coming soon. We'll be releasing it. I'm not sure if Costin released it yet on his live, but we're going to be having a monthly subscription where people can pay monthly, and you get us for like a few hours, and we go in depth into anything, sharing screens, going through, putting people in the hot seat kind of thing, where they say, hey, I need help, and we go through like step by step in their campaigns and show them how. So that's a membership if you wanted to join. That's gonna be coming soon. It's gonna happen, I think, weekly, possibly every or twice a week. I haven't really figured out the schedule yet with Qasim to make it public yet, but there's going to be a membership that you could join for not that much money per month, that you essentially get weekly access to us, and we can hop on and do consulting. So if the product already have, if this product, let's see, or you can use a barcode lookup and search a database. If this product, yeah, if you already have a UPC, you can go look it up. But if it's like something that you have that you grabbed that doesn't have a UPC or GTIN or anything, don't take it from another product. Google knows what that product is. And so if you try to pass it off, you might get away with it for a little bit of time, but ultimately you're going to get disapproved and or suspended. So just buy it if you don't have one, period. If you can't, like you said, if you can't look it up and see, did it ever have one, and can I just grab the one that it used to have? If it doesn't have one at all, like if it's homemade as an example, then buy one. Yep. All right, everyone. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it, and I will see you all next week. Thanks, everyone.